Moving on now, Hungary's Prime Minister is claiming victory in his country's referendum on the EU migrant quota plan. Almost all the voters who turned out rejected moves to accept mandatory numbers of refugees. There was a low turnout for the poll, but leader Viktor Orbán says he's still going to use the result in Brussels for talks next week.
The Union's proposal is to let the migrants in and distribute them in mandatory fashion among the member states, and for Brussels to decide about this distribution. Hungarians today considered this proposal and they rejected it. Hungarians decided that only we, Hungarians, can decide whom we want to live with.
Well, these are the figures. 98% of voters, that's more than 3.2 million people, supported the government's call to reject the EU plan. But only 43% of the electorate voted, short of the 50% required to be valid. Premier Viktor Orbán's been one of the toughest opponents of the EU quota plan and says he's ready to change Hungary's constitution to make the decision binding. Over the past year, Orbán has sealed Hungary's borders with razor wire fences and thousands of border patrols.
Mennyire is ismerjük a következményeit, mégis kénytelenek vagyunk Magyarország déli határait megvédeni.
A magyar-szerb határon fekvő Ásodhalom polgármestere vagyok. Mostantól egy folyamatosan épülő kerítés, a magyar hadsereg védi. Magyarország rossz választás.
Well, Hungary's many anti-migrant measures have also been repeatedly slammed by European politicians. Some have gone as far as calling for the country to be kicked out of the EU altogether. Despite that, Prime Minister Orbán promises to build additional border fences to curb the influx.
Nincs jó adaptációs válaszunk a népvándorlásra. People in Europe are full of fear because we see that the European leaders, among them the prime ministers, are not able to control the situation. The Hungarian referendum is the only way now which could provide some chance to change the false migration policy of Brussels. We are the only one up to now in the European Union who managed to have a referendum on the migrant issue. I would be happy to see other countries to follow.
No, Mr. Orbán, it's not against Hungary. You have not the right to say that these people here are fighting against the Hungarian interest.
For European solidarity in this problem solution finding is key. We can't manage by missing European solidarity to introduce common rules.
The Colombian government and FARC rebels have come tantalizingly close to a peace deal. More after the break.